Man, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira is one of the best flyweight fights of all time, along with his fight against Brandon Royval. Like back to back. Let's not count the Pantoja fight. That wasn't fight. It was AI propaganda, okay? And today I'm going to break down exactly how Joshua was able to neutralize Taira, even though I picked Taira to win. But before I continue, I'll ask you guys like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. And if you don't enjoy the video, you can always unsubscribe at the end. For starters, it was his jab. Joshua Van's jab is money, bro. It really is money. And what doesn't make sense about it is the fact that this guy is usually at a height and reach disadvantage. Tatsuro Taira had a 5-inch reach advantage and a 2-inch height advantage. You would think that Joshua wouldn't have that much success landing the jab, but he kept finding home with it. I know Tatsuro is not the best striker. I've always said it. Tatsuro does not have hands. Great grappler, but he does not have hands. He literally knocked down Tatsuro Taira with a freaking jab, bro, at flyweight. What do they feed these guys in Myanmar, bro? It doesn't make any sense. Tatsuro barely had any success in the striking exchange. He has zero head movement, doesn't block, doesn't parry, doesn't counter, but he uses his wrestling as a striking defense, I guess. And I don't know why he abandoned the low kicks early. No, actually, I know why. Because, yes, he threw them only in the first round, but as time went on, he completely abandoned it. And it was because he was afraid of the counter, which literally, that's how he got knocked down. The hardest strike of the fight was when he attempted a low kick. Then Joshua countered him with the right hand. Boom! Clean, right on the button. Don't know how Tatsuro recovered from that. That dude's chin was forged with Thor's hammer. The beauty about Joshua Van's boxing is he's exceptional at landing combos, and I feel like a lot of MMA fighters aren't able to do that. So whenever you are good at combos, you will usually win a lot of your fights. Take Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, Jack Della Maddalena. Let's not talk about the Carlos Prates fight, okay? Didn't happen. Yeah, so Joshua Van he's exceptional. He blitzes his opponents, lands multi-punch combos, variations of uppercuts, short hooks. Statistically speaking, he's the most precise striker in the division. So imagine having volume, precision, and power at the same time. This is the reason why he's the best striker in the division, in my opinion at least. For those of us who picked Tatsuro Taira to win, let's not act like we weren't impressed by Joshua Van's takedown defense, because I thought Tatsuro was going to have way more success wrestling, you know? He didn't really have success with the wrestling techniques. I noticed how when he would shoot for a takedown, he would secure them early, but Joshua Van was always able to get back up. Even though Tatsuro looked deep in the grappling exchanges, he'd have him in full mount, but he couldn't pop off with any ground and pound. He was more focused on hunting for submissions. And another thing that surprised me was Joshua Van's immaculate BJJ defense. I did not think this guy was going to be able to not get submitted by Tatsuro Taira, simply because Tatsuro has way more experience. Joshua Van only started training about 5 years ago, and there was a point where he was in the UFC and he says he's never trained wrestling. I think he was capping a little bit, but I know that Joshua Van's not that experienced, and that was the main reason why I picked Tatsuro to win. We saw Joshua beat up the best strikers in the division, and that was all I thought his ceiling was. The man was so confident in his grappling that he was the one who even attempted a rear naked choke, and that was the deepest submission of the fight. Granted, Tatsuro took a beating before he ended up in that position, but still freaking impressive and badass. The takedowns that Tatsuro was having the most success with were the leg trips, because I felt like more often than not, when he would attempt them, he would land them, but Joshua Van would just get back up, man. Like, this was a terrible fight for Tatsuro Taira. And the stoppage, how do I feel about the stoppage? The first time I watched it, for like 5 seconds after it happened, I was like, they should have let him go on a little longer. But I think that was professionalism at its best, because, man, Tatsuro was battered, man. And after he took that body shot, he was done. So I think the ref kind of saved him from taking any more damage. But you guys let me know what you think about that fight and what Joshua Van's ceiling is. Heck, the dude's a freaking champion, you know? But yeah, thanks. And don't forget to like and subscribe.